Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about a subject that's very close to home: firearm safety and gun laws here in Idaho. As a gun owner, I've learned firsthand how easy it is to make mistakes, and I want to share a story that could have changed my life forever. I'll also dive into some critical information on Idaho gun laws, legal pitfalls gun owners face, and the importance of proper safety and training. When I was 24, I bought myself a Springfield XD 45 subcompact sidearm. It was packed with great safety features: chambered round indicators, firing pin detection, full grip safety, and my personal favorite, the ability to field strip it in 3 seconds. I was confident in my abilities, having served in the military, and I had quite a bit of training at that time to handle firearms. One day, I took the gun to my mom's house to show it to my younger brother, John, who was 16, and he also loved firearms. Like always, I removed the magazine. I cleared the chamber before showing it to my brother. I went over all the features, demonstrating how safe and functional it was. I explained how easy it was to load the magazine and how quickly you could field strip the pistol. But as I was talking, I became distracted. I was focused on explaining the gun's features and not on safety. And that's when it happened. As I pulled the trigger to demonstrate the field stripping process, BAM! The gun went off. My hand felt the heat and force of the blast. My ears rang and the smell of gunpowder filled that room. For a few seconds, I didn't understand what had just happened. I checked my hand to see if it was still intact, and thankfully it was. But the reality hit me. What if I had hit my brother? What if my hand had been blown apart? What if the bullet had gone through the wall and I hit one of my kids? It was a very sobering and terrifying moment. This was a pivotal experience for me. Even with my background in firearms, I made a critical mistake. The issue wasn't a lack of knowledge about gun safety, but rather that I allowed myself to get distracted while handling a firearm. I had never practiced safely handling a firearm while talking to someone, and it nearly cost me. It's moments like these that remind you that owning a gun is a serious responsibility. Safety training isn't something you can let slide, and neither is physical training. And this part doesn't get talked about that much, but it's something that needs to be said before we dive in and talk about the laws. Now, I know for a fact that most gun owners believe that they have enough training and that when they need to take action and use their firearm, they'll be ready. But the fact is, most men have no clue how they'll actually perform in the moments where it really counts. And there's a simple test anyone can do the next time they're at the range to find out where they're at, and I highly encourage everyone to try this. Next time you are at the range, just do 1 solid minute of push-ups and 1 solid minute of jumping jacks. Do as many as you can in those 120 seconds. Then, without catching your breath, take out your pistol and try hitting a target at 20 feet. Or if you're using a rifle, try hitting a target at 100 feet. See how long it takes you to get your sights on target before firing, and how accurate your first 2 or 3 shots when fired rapidly really are. You might find hitting center mass to be a bit more difficult. And here's why this matters. When adrenaline hits, it will feel like you've just sprinted a full mile or 3. Your hands and knees will shake, your heart will pound, and you will have trouble focusing and thinking about what you need to do next. This state you are in after doing those exercises is much closer to what it actually feels like when you are in a gunfight. No time to think. It's a high pressure situation, and every decision counts. This is why I recommend not just firearms training, but also tactical and physical training. It's critical. In a life or death situation, you'll need to make a split-second decision and hit your target accurately to protect yourself and others. And that brings me to Idaho gun laws and why understanding them is just as important as doing safety and physical training. Let's go through some of the key laws, and then we'll talk about the changes they are working on with some of these laws. You're going to want to know this if you're looking at moving to Idaho. So Idaho is a constitutional carry state, which means anyone 18 years or older can carry a firearm, open or concealed, without a permit if they're a resident. Non-residents must be 21 years or older to conceal carry, but they do need to have a permit. In Idaho, open carry is legal without a permit. You can openly carry handguns or long guns, but you need to be aware of private property rules in certain restricted areas like schools or federal buildings. Idaho has a robust stand your ground law, which means you don't have a duty to retreat if you're in a place you have the legal right to be and you are reasonably believing that you need to defend yourself. However, this law doesn't give you free rein to use deadly force. There has to be an imminent threat. Even though Idaho has its own gun-friendly laws, federal regulations do still apply. Things like fully automatic weapons, short-barreled rifles, and suppressors are legal in Idaho, but they require federal paperwork and registration under the National Firearms Act. So make sure you're compliant with federal rules if you're considering owning any of these regulated items. And there are legal pitfalls you need to consider if you plan to carry a firearm here in Idaho. Even though we have state preemption laws preventing local governments from regulating firearms, private entities can still impose their own restrictions. For instance, private property owners can ban guns on their premises, and violating those bans can get you into trouble. Plus, federal regulations around things like suppressors and short-barreled rifles still apply in Idaho, so gun owners need to stay aware of both state and federal law. Now, I mentioned before that legislators are working on making changes to some of these laws, and here they are. So the expansion of Stand Your Ground law. Idaho is working to enhance its Stand Your Ground law by including provisions for criminal immunity. This would allow individuals who defend themselves to invoke a pre-trial hearing to determine if sufficient evidence exists for prosecution. If found not guilty by reason of self-defense, judges could also award attorney fees to the defendant. There's also firearm preemption law changes they're working on. A major focus in 2024 is addressing Idaho's firearm preemption laws, especially after a ruling by the Idaho Supreme Court. So legislators are working on measures to prevent private entities from banning firearms on public property, a move that would reinforce gun owners' rights. A bill has also been introduced that would remove the authority of public colleges and universities to regulate concealed weapons on campuses. The proposal aligns with previous efforts to expand gun rights in public spaces. I will say, I think these changes being proposed really clarify where Idaho's leadership is at when it comes to firearms. These changes clearly reflect Idaho's commitment to reinforcing gun owners' rights while providing legal protections for those acting in self-defense. Every human has the God-given right to protect themselves from harm, as well as the right to protect others from harm. And my experience taught me that safety with firearms isn't just about knowing the laws, it's about constant vigilance and regular training. Gun ownership is a right in Idaho, but it's also a huge responsibility. If you own a firearm or are thinking about getting one, make sure you're trained, make sure you're aware of the laws, and above all, stay mindful every time you handle your weapon. I hope this story helps highlight just how easily accidents can happen, even to the most experienced gun owners. Let's all take responsibility to keep ourselves and those around us safe. If this story and information resonate with you, and you are seriously thinking that Idaho could be the place you want to call home, just reach out to me and my team at the phone number or email address listed below. Day, nights, weekends, it doesn't matter. That's why we're here. We're here to help people figure out if Idaho really is the right place for them to move. Make sure you tap the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you like this video, if it resonated with you, or if you feel like there was something I missed, go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section, and I will try to reply to all of them. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.